Hello and welcome to all to the webinar. Today's session is focused on concrete traceability control through the use of advanced technologies like Autodesk Construction Cloud, Vcad, and the Power Platform. Today we've organized a bit of a panel discussion and we'll be talking about some real-life implementation of these technologies. But first, let's start with some introductions. First off, I'm Nicola Migliore. I am the Product Development Manager for the Vcad project over at Belogic. As such, I follow the various steps of development of the Vcad solution. Also, I collaborate with our partners and our clients to better the tool and help in the implementation of these technologies in advanced scenarios. With me today, we have Jeremy Wallin, Strategic Alliance and Partnership Manager. Sorry about that. Why don't you tell us about yourself?
Hey team, or hey everyone, great to be here today and thanks for having me. My name is Jeremy. I've been with the Autodesk team for about 5 years now and I oversee our amazing ecosystem of integration partners and I'm really excited to be here today to share a little bit more about Autodesk Construction Cloud.
Great. Also with us, we have Ana Lucia Gallego Martins, Planning Manager at Tecnisa. Hi, Ana.
Hi, I am civil engineer and the project management specialist. I have been working in construction planning for 20 years and in 2018, I started studying BIM methodology and the implementation for project coordination and construction management.
Nice to have you. And also we have Luana Duarte, Digital and Data Management Analyst at Cetrel.
Hi everyone, I'm Luana. I work as a Digital and Innovation Analyst and I'm a geologist, but my professional journey has always been centered around the development of digital products. I have a long experience in crafting dashboards, creating low-code apps, automations, managing different databases, and also with 3D environmental modeling. Thanks for having me, and also thanks for the Autodesk team and Tecnisa for our partnership.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Okay, so as I said, there's a lot of parts collaborating in this use case that we're going to be talking about, and of course, underpinning all of this is the Autodesk tools and technology, particularly Autodesk Construction Cloud. And so Jeremy is going to give us a bit of an overview and tell us a little about how this incredible world works. So I'm going to pass the ball over to him. Let me stop sharing right now. There we go. Yes, and Jeremy, you can now share your screen. There we go. Jeremy, I think you're muted right now.
Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so like I said, or like I just mentioned, I've been with the Autodesk team for about 5 years now. I sit on the Autodesk Construction Cloud integrations team. Our team works with our amazing integration partners as they build out advanced integrations to Autodesk Construction Cloud. But today wanted to dive a little bit into what Autodesk Construction Cloud is and how what we're doing from a high level with the construction industry. So as you know, a typical construction project is made of multiple teams across all phases of the construction lifecycle. Owners, general contractors, and subcontractors all use different systems and platforms, which makes integration and communication across teams harder and limits project data usage. And this issue has an added layer of complexity when we consider the communication between different teams, whether they're in the field or in the office. And that fragmentation of data has a huge and direct impact at the project level. Teams are disconnected and working from outdated information due to multiple apps or even the complete lack of digital adoption. On the project level, this connection between the office and the field accounts for a massive avoidable rework that impacts project cost, quality, delivery time, and profitability. At the business level, unused and lost project data is hugely reducing potential opportunities. So that's where Autodesk Construction Cloud comes in to connect teams, workflows, and data. We bring together easier collaboration from a single source of truth. So whether you're in the field or the office, everyone is collaborating through their iPads, mobile devices, and so on, have all the information at their fingertips. But before diving into the specifics of what Autodesk Build and the workflows and so on, just want to take a quick step back and share a bit on what we mean when we say Autodesk Construction Cloud. When we say Autodesk Construction Cloud, that's Autodesk Build, Autodesk BIM Collaborate, which helps design teams in particular, and Autodesk Takeoff, which is a tool that allows teams to generate quantities from their 2D sheets or 3D models to include in their estimates. Each of these, Autodesk Build, Autodesk BIM Collaborate, and Autodesk Takeoff, work in concert with one another and have an underpinning of Autodesk Docs. Essentially, 3D models, documents, photos, reports, everything and anything that construction teams use lives within Autodesk Docs and is usable throughout the entire construction lifecycle across each of these solutions. You'll see elements of Building Connected, Assemble, Pipe, and ProEst get incorporated into Autodesk Construction Cloud as well in the future. So as I mentioned, each of these solutions works closely in tandem. Autodesk Docs is the underlying document management behind Autodesk Construction Cloud. So again, those 3D models, reports, drawings are all accessible and usable within each of the three solutions. We talked a little bit about BIM Collaborate and Takeoff on the last slide. The Autodesk Build helps drive projects forward by connecting the field and office and allows teams to work seamlessly with one another. You can see on this slide here the types of workflows that Autodesk BIM Collaborate, Autodesk Takeoff, and Autodesk Build support. And diving into it, here are the specific workflows that are more widely used across Autodesk Build: document control, issues, RFIs, and insights. You'll see on the screen ability to mark up sheets, pin issues down to those sheets, issue RFIs, communicate with architects, even if they're not part of the project. So, like I said, Autodesk Build is one place where all team members have access to all the information documents within the project. Our markup tools allow teams to call attention to details on drawings or documents and then share them with other team members. Those 2D drawings or 3D models can be navigated with ease on both the desktop and the mobile device. With issues in Autodesk Build, teams can highlight issues, whether it's rework or punch list item, something or QA/QC. They can be pinned down to the exact location on the 2D drawing and managed and shared across the team so that everyone has the relevant information and is aware of what is going on the project. Those issue reports can be generated as well and shared even with non-team members. Similarly, with RFIs, teams can create these RFIs on their mobile device, send them back to the project manager in the office, who can then collaborate and communicate with architect and then distribute those answers to the fields. What's really great is that these RFIs and issues can be intertwined with other pieces of Autodesk Build. For example, you could tie an RFI or an issue to a change order, to a document, to a drawing, to a model. Everything within Autodesk Build is referenceable. You'll see on the left-hand side where it says home, sheets, files, issues, and so on. All of these things can be referenced across one another So you can imagine a world where there's a change order that's impacting an RFI, or maybe it's a markup on a drawing. Again, these can all be linked and intertwined across Autodesk Build. And then lastly, when we talk about insight, we're referring to the capabilities that allow teams to visualize and analyze all of their project data. This is key for project teams to better understand where to prioritize attention and improve decision-making for both individual project team members as well as executive leaders. These dashboards are customizable and allow users to choose various cards from our card library that bubble up and showcase all of the data that comes from Autodesk Construction Cloud. And with that, that is all I have.
Very nice. All right. Great. Thank you for that. Okay, so continuing sort of our tour of softwares, let me talk a little about Vcad and what it is exactly that that we do. I'll be brief. I really want to get into the sort of the showcase of the actual application that Ana and Luana have built, but I'll give you a bit of an overview of what Vcad actually does. So Vcad is a tool at its fundamental. It's a tool that allows you to connect BIM data and BIM models with BI tools, specifically with Power BI. It has a set of features that are built specifically for this sort of interactions. Particularly, Vcad gives you a fully automatic extraction of all the BIM data contained inside of your BIM models. It allows the actual rendering of the BIM models inside of the Power BI report. And it allows an easy interaction between the model and the rest of the report itself. So it can be very easy to set up interactions that allow you to make selections inside of the model itself, or inside of graphics and charts that are inside of the report that then reflect those selections inside of the model. And finally, with Vcad, it's very easy to then take all that BIM data and then connect it with data coming from third-party software, which is where the real power of this solution comes in. So being able to take all that BIM world information and then interconnect it with the rest of the software that you're using. There's several different benefits to this sort of functionality. Of course, it makes it very easy to gain insight from the models you're managing already and stuff that you've been maybe keeping around for a long time. And it gives you a very flexible way to create advanced reports to manage a number of different scenarios. Anything from 4D reporting for things like following construction monitoring, 5D reporting to calculate, to make accurate estimates or tracking of budget, all the way to full-fledged real-time IoT solutions and facility management once the project is sort of, the construction has been completed and you just need to follow along with the management side. And one of the other aspects that we've really focused on when developing Vcad is ease of use. And so everything is very streamlined. The workflow is very simple. The model is processed automatically. It is extracted automatically. You get a pre-worked template that already has all you need to build your report already in it, and you can jump right into the fun part of actually designing your dashboard and connecting all the data from all over the data environments you want to connect. So that's sort of what Vcad allows you to do, and what some of the tools in the toolbox are. With this said, let's actually get to the actual use case that we're going to be talking about today, which is the work that Cetrel and Tecnisa have been working on. And so to give us a bit of an overview of this project, I would like to start with Ana. Would you like to tell us a little about what the overall purpose of the project was when you started out.
And over the last 2 years, we have organized the information so that it could be possible to work with the data in an integrated way in all phases of the project. With the management of project documentation and BIM models in Autodesk Construction Cloud, we were looking for a tool that would allow us to visualize the models in our construction monitoring reports. We are working with Vcad, Power BI, Automate, and Power Apps with the aim of consolidating Tecnisa digital integration. Several products were built, such as dashboards for evaluating operational, environment, financial, and schedule performance, as well as apps related to work daily reports, photography records, and the physical progress of scheduled tasks. In addition to the focus product of today's webinar, which was built with the aim of facilitating and digitalizing the concrete traceability process.
Yeah, nice. And Luana, what are some of the main challenges that you've encountered while working on this project, and how did you overcome them?
During the development, I think the first difficulty that we've encountered was the file format, choosing the file format, because Tecnisa had a need to federate the different disciplines that they model for the constructions, and they have a lot of elements, so we were working with heavy files. So we needed to strike a balance between the compatibility, which one was easier to work in Power BI, and the need that they had to do this to federate the model. So we ended up using the NWD file, and with that we had another difficulty because working with the NWD, it brought all the hierarchical tree or the geometry from the model. So we needed to do some steps in Power BI to normalize the information, to bring all the information, especially the element ID, there is our key right in this product, to the level that we were working. So, but we ended up achieving it. And the last one is the integration between Power Apps and Power BI itself. It's a default integration, so it has a default function in Power Apps and everything. But when we were working and we wanted to change some field or to change the app, we had a few difficulties. Sometimes we had to redo the whole thing, but at the end, it's working. It's working perfectly.
Good. Okay. And Ana, what would you say are some of the main benefits that you found in implementing the use of Autodesk Construction Cloud throughout the project?
The main benefits are document management, collaboration, productivity gains, and information reliability throughout the project, and especially the benefit of integration with Vcad.
Great, that's good to hear. Okay, okay, cool. Well, tell you what, Luana, why don't you actually show us the report that you built, and maybe we can talk a little more about that. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. You can share now.
Let me just. Let me just see if I can share the right screen here.
Sure.
Which one are you guys seeing?
We are seeing, yeah, we're seeing the report in the browser.
Okay, here?
Yes, where your mouse is. Yep, there we go. Okay, so before we go too much into detail, could you tell us a little kind of what the aim of the report is in general?
As Ana mentioned, the project with Tecnisa had the purpose to build digital products, especially focused on the integration of the BIM model with their different databases. But this product itself, this prototype, had the object to reproduce their traceability map that is very important in the construction, where we assign the different invoices for each element, so we can trace which concrete was used in each part of the constructions, and we guarantee an easy way to monitor for monitoring, and also guaranteeing the structure's warranty. This activity was managed using 2D printed models in the past. So the engineer had to assign manually. They had to color each part of the plant to assign the invoice, and then they could trace the information. So with this prototype had the purpose to build a more graphical and easy way to do that activity.
Okay, cool. Okay, so why don't you kind of walk us through the report and kind of explain to us what it's actually doing?
Sure. So we have the two main features here. There are the Vcad, where we can see the 3D model. And we also have here the app that we built. So here we can choose any element, and then we can register the invoice. So it's in Portuguese, I'm sorry about that, but translating for everyone, here it says traceability map. In this table right here, we have the information about the model. So here we have the object ID, element ID, the type of the object, the name of the object, what was the projected volume, the tower, level, and the FCK, the projected FCK, that is the characteristic strength. And on this table on the right side here, we have the information related to the invoices. So the number of the invoice, the product that it corresponds to, the volume, and also the FCK. But here it's a result from the technological test that they do. So we can compare these two informations here and see if it's okay, if it's compatible, if it's lower, if we need to do something about it. And before showing the last features, I think we can see the interaction here of the model with Power Apps. I'll select an object here. I'm sorry, here. So when we select an object, we can see right here a table with, if we have any invoices already registered for their object in the database, we can see on this table right here. We can also register another invoice. So here, the name of the construction, the object ID, the element ID, and the one that was responsible for this record are automatically filled. These fields are automatically filled. And we have just to put the information for the supplier's name and the invoice number. And then we can load in the database. We are using currently an Excel file, but we could also use, for example, SharePoint list or another database. We can also edit the information. So if I typed something wrong, I can just come here. I just alternate this button right here, and I go to the editing mode. So I can edit the information of the invoice that I'm selecting. And the only difference if I select an object that doesn't have a invoice register is that we are not going to be able to see anything on this list right here. And if there is nothing selected, it says select an item from the table or directly from the model. So here we use to input the information. And then the dashboard, we updated the dashboard, and then we can work with the analyzing this data. So the Vcad visual has the function that we can change the color from the model. So we have the default color, and we also brought two options here. This one that shows us which objects already have informations registered. So all these green ones have invoices. And these other options where we can analyze the data, that comparison that I mentioned, the FCK, the projected FCK, and the one from the result from the lab. So if it's green, it means that the result is greater or equal to the projected FCK. And if it's red, it means that it's lower, and the engineer team can analyze, see if they need to take any actions from it. And the last feature in this table right here, we can also see that comparison, and we can also click in with the right button, select drill through detailing, and we can see details from that invoice. So the number of the invoice, the object, the volume from the truck, the license plate, the supplier, the responsible, unload time, total unload time, and the results from the technological test. 7 days, 28 days, and 63 days. To finish, we have also this table right here with the raw data. I think it's not going to be able to see everything, but it's just the raw data if they need to export to add in a report. So they can do this using this table right here. I think that's it.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so the cool thing, if I get this right, is that you've basically built this report that allows you not only to review data and monitor the situation, but also to do some actual data entry and update your database in the backend. Yeah, very nice, very nice. Okay, very cool. And would you say that have you found that there are any particular benefits to implementing this sort of solution? I don't know, in terms of, I don't know, costs or time savings, something like that, having actually implemented this solution?
Yeah, I think it speeds up the process, but I think Ana can tell you a little bit more about the benefits.
Okay.
The biggest benefit of using Vcad is the visualization of results and the traceability of concrete by the construction team in the field in a fast and reliable way.
Nice, very nice. Okay. Well, thank you very much for this presentation. I think the report you built is very impressive. Not only for what it actually does, but just how it presents the whole thing. I think it's very cool. I've seen some cool reports. This is top notch. So to everyone that's following along in the webinar, if you want to drop some questions in the question panel, we do have a couple minutes and we can address a couple questions before we close off. So we have received a few. If anyone else has any other questions, feel free to write them down. So I'm going to read them out and go ahead and ask you guys. So first question, I think would be for Luana. Which BIM format did you end up using and why? I believe you touched upon it before. You said NWD, correct?
Yeah, we used NUWD. We've tried a few others, right? Ana has a bit more of the details about the other tasks that we did,
Okay.
but we ended up with NUWD file.
Okay, then maybe Ana, you can tell us a little more of why that decision was made.
Yes, we have tested several file types. For IFC files, we would have to federate in Revit, which would be complex due to the size of the files, and then export to IFC. What else? We would need a slot for each discipline and federate it in Vcad. For RVT files, we would have to federate in Revit too, but it would be complex due to the size of the files. It is not possible yet to federate RVT files into Vcad. For NWD files, when we federate NWC or RVT files, we need to process the data in Power BI due to the multiplicity of objects.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So basically, the final decision was NWD files for the performance, but like we were talking about before, there's some work that you need to do beforehand in the report to then be able to map that data correctly. A bit of insider knowledge when you're using these different file types inside of Power BI, the data extraction varies slightly, so there are some minor adjustments you need to do depending on the type of file you're going to be using. So just something that one needs to take into consideration. Okay, cool. Okay, let me see another question. So one question, can you give us some more details about the workflow for the project? So on a higher level, for example, how is data shared and how many BIM files are involved in the project?
The structures designer uploads models to Autodesk Construction Cloud. We audit the modeling, insert the Tecnisa parameters, and federate the models into Navisworks. Once this is done, we upload the NWD file to Vcad. And on site during the concreting stages, the engineer notes the concrete information in the app and the results are evaluating reports in Power BI.
Okay, cool. Okay, another question. How long did it take to define or build the first prototype?
The project with Tecnisa, we were working with them since June last year, but this prototype itself, I think about 2 weeks between discussions and developing the prototype and the adjustments and the final product.
So 2 weeks, okay, not bad.
About 2 weeks.
Cool. Okay, let's see another couple questions. So one says, congrats. So it starts with a compliment.
Thank you.
So how did you solve the problem of digitizing documents from different sources in an area where it is often difficult to find the same dialect language?
So we used to link the information, to integrate the information. We ended up using the element ID that was modeled in the model, and the invoice, as we use the app, we already have this information right there, so we can see the invoice, the element ID that it corresponds to, and so we use to see the information from the invoice and the technological test, the invoice number. They have these tables that their supplier sends to them. So we were using mainly as a key for the tables the element ID and the invoice number.
And then matching those two together.
Matching, yeah.
Okay, cool. Question for Jeremy. Do you need a special ACC license to use an implementation like Vcad? Are there any limitations on the type of files one can use in ACC? And what's the maximum file size we can use, I'm assuming, for BIM models?
Yeah, so from the Autodesk side, the only thing to do is to add the Vcad integration via the app gallery in Autodesk Construction Cloud. You just need to have an account administrator add the integration. But once the integration is added from the account level, it can be used by any member of the project or any member of the account within any project. Autodesk Build supports pretty much any type of Autodesk model type. Nicola, I'm not too sure if there's a limitation on the integration, pulling in models.
So from the actual Vcad side, we support the bigger BIM models, so NWDs, NWCs, RVTs, IFCs, DWGs, DGNs, a couple minor ones, but most of our clients are using those. So those are the ones we're supporting right now.
Gotcha.
We are working, we have a backlog of file types that we intend to support. Because we are implementing, and we didn't touch upon that today, but actually part of the Vcad implementation leverages the APS services, so the Autodesk Web Viewer, basically, which actually gives us the possibility to manage a whole bunch of different file formats. But then there's the development that we need to do from the Vcad side to support the data extraction and all that kind of side. So the nice thing is the technology for the rendering is there. And so every now and then we go and we add support for an extra file.
Gotcha. And then special ACC license, you don't need a special license. Integrations are available within any Autodesk Build, Autodesk Docs subscription.
Cool. Okay, next question. This one I think would be for me or me and Luana. Luana, in this example, you use a Naviswork file, as we said. The question asker asks, is it possible to federate Revit files and reproduce a similar project? Are there any particular problems? Well, Ana kind of touched upon that before. I mean, it technically, I'm going to give you my 2 cents. Yeah. It technically is possible to do something like this. It kind of depends on what the model looks like. So as Ana was mentioning, it would require you to federate the model beforehand, which if it's a big model becomes kind of cumbersome. Yeah. So that's the one thing that I would keep in mind. Usually for large projects, we tend to suggest using Naviswork because that's where you get the best performance, without any doubt. Anything else you want to add on this point?
I think that's it. The problem that we've encountered was the file size. So if you were working with, I think a few less elements, it could be possible.
Sure. Yes, I agree. Okay. Question for me. Is it possible to give a color to an object in the 3D visual? Yes, Luana showed us an example of that before. And the nice thing is you can actually programmatically do that based on your data, like Luana showed us. So she's actually calculating that inside of Power BI, those green and red colors that are being applied to the model. The question goes on, is it possible to upload and federate more 3D models in Power BI Visual? Is it possible to compare between 2 or more models? Okay, a couple of points. Yes, in Vcad it is possible to federate multiple 3D models. We recently released support for runtime federations. to all our ACC users. But as Ana was mentioning, that is only available for Navisworks models and IFC models right now. So if you have an IFC or a group of IFCs or a group of Navisworks, then yes, it can be done. And you can actually federate them at runtime. So no need to do the work beforehand. You simply set it up and the viewer says, okay, I want to load this model and this model. And dynamically inside of the report, you can choose which ones to switch on and off. Finally, is it possible to compare between 2 or more models? Yes, you can definitely set up a report that will compare models. Depends on what you're trying to compare. An easy example is check if, for example, an object with a certain external ID exists in 2 versions. So version 1 and version 2, see if it exists after a revision. That can definitely be done. You can do it with as many models as you want. I mean, you can drop as many viewers as you want inside of a report. The only thing you need to keep in mind is the sort of resources of your PC. So 1 viewer will run great, 2 will run great, 3 will run fine. If you start putting 10 viewers in a single dashboard, then I'd start worrying. But unless you're doing something crazy like that, then you should be good to go. Another question. So why did they mention the other disciplines model? Is the interface being used for model coordination as well, or is it due to different file types that the structural model is being created?
The other disciplines that we were mentioned was like they have a structure model and architect model, and they need to put these 2 information together. They need to federate these 2 disciplines.
Okay.
Right, cool. Ana?
That's good. Okay, I think we covered all the questions, and we are perfectly on time, exactly at the 45-minute mark. So with that, I'd like to thank all the panelists for joining me on this webinar. Thank everyone who logged in to check it out. Reminder, the session is being recorded. A link to the recording will be available, I believe, tomorrow. In any case, anyone who signed up will get a reminder, and we'll be publicizing it on all our usual social networks and so on. So again, thank you guys for joining, and yeah, catch everyone next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.